Good morning, Professor Dr. Navin Kumar. Am I audible?
Yes, Dr. Silpa, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So can we start?
Sure, sir. Absolutely. So your video is actually not on.
Yes, I'm coming, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. So thank you so
morning.
much for joining us, for agreeing to give us your time. And on behalf of Team NPPA, it is my absolute privilege and honor to welcome you. And we look forward to your session. So also a very good morning to all our participants who have joined us for the session. Thank you for joining us for today's second keynote lecture. I am Dr. Shilpa. I am Assistant Professor of Psychology at the Original Global University, Sonipat. And I'm also an Executive Committee member of NPPA. And today I have the privilege of introducing you all to Professor Dr. Navin Kumar. He has a teaching experience of over 26 years, and he has done his post-graduation and PhD in psychology from the University of Delhi. His major areas of interest are media psychology, social psychology, qualitative research, Indian psychology, positive psychology, criminal and counseling psychology as well. He has published various books such as Mental Health and Well-Being and Indian Psychology Perspective, published by Taylor and Francis, Media Psychology, Exploration and Application, published in 2020 by Routledge, Counseling Psychology, Indian and Western Pathways, published by Cengage Books. He has also published a book on criminal psychology in 2015, which was published by LexisNexis, a division of Reed Elsevier India Private Limited. Professor Kumar's research experience is wide, and he has completed a number of collaborative research projects, one of which was the collaborative learning project of Delhi Police in 2018-2019, an ICSSR major research project as the project director, and the project was titled Personality Trait Structure and Taxonomy of Hindi-Speaking Indians, a Psycholexical Approach. He has also led a major research project of UGC on the topic employability of vocational education students. He was also the principal investigator of the project Growing Under the Shadow of Media, Explorations into Family Lives and Psychosocial Well-Being. A stellar researcher, Professor Navin Kumar has over 25 national and international publications to his name, and these have been published in a number of notable journals of repute, some of which include the Journal of Asian and African Studies, Psychology and Education, International Journal of Social Science, International Journal of Psychosocial Rehabilitation, with a rather recent article which was published on a psychological study of evaluating the impact of online learning on students and teachers, a rather contemporary topic, which was published in the International Journal of Engineering, Applied Sciences and Technology. And also another recent publication in 2021 on the evidence of Shabad Kirtan meditation practice to enrich wisdom, which was published in the Turkish Journal of Physiotherapy and Rehabilitation. Besides his research and academic endeavors, he has delivered a number of webinars and conducted various workshops on important issues such as psychology and media, societal and cultural implications, mental well-being, strategical framework for post-COVID-19 education, understanding the dynamics of suffering and healing. He is also someone who is involved in training programs for different stakeholders. For instance, he has conducted stress management sessions for cadets of CISF at the CISF Training Academy in Rajasthan. He has also delivered emotional intelligence training to police officers from all over the country at the Bureau of Police Research and Development, Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India. And some of his academic training programs include trainings on qualitative empirical method in legal research at the very renowned National Law University, mental health at Ramjas College, New Delhi as well. And he has been a part of multiple conferences and has delivered talks nationally as well as internationally. Today, Professor Kumar He will be delivering the keynote lecture on nurturing harmony, exploring the intersection of digital ecology and positive psychology. Now, before handing over to Sir, I have a small announcement for the audience members. As you have been attending all of the other sessions of our conference, here again, you have the Q&A box where you can post your questions and we will pick up the questions once the session is over. So if you could kindly wrap up by 10:50. So in that case, we'll have 10 minutes for the Q&A session. Now, without any further delay, I invite Sir to kindly deliver his keynote lecture. Over to you, Sir.
Thank you, Dr. Silpa, for your, a great introduction of mine. I don't know whether it is needed, but I profusely thank you and express my deepest gratitude to Professor Kamlesh Singh ma'am and the NPPA. Because of your, invitation, I am here amidst the scholars of country and abroad who are participating in this conference. I first compliment you and your team for doing this good work in India, because positive psychology in India, Professor Kamlesh Singh is the leader. And I think it is a discipline which needs to be, further, extension all over the country, so that positive psychology can be of some use to, society at large. The purpose of today's discussion is digital ecology and its relationship with positive psychology, because digital immersion nowadays is the reality. So there is a social reality and there is a digital reality. So right from morning time to sleeping time late in the night, we are all under the shadow of mass media interaction and its activities. Whether we like it or not, but it is pervading into our day-to-day everyday life, and also your academic life, your professional life, your social life, entertainment. So you talk about any field, and there is a big difficulty identifying the authenticity and popularity. Somebody is very popular on social media, ranked #1 researcher in the country or at the world level. But if you go into the details of it, sometimes you will find there is a mismatch in what media is. So there is an agenda setting job of media, what it says, and you have to believe it. And the intrusion of technology in day-to-day life began because the evolution of knowledge that began from oral culture. Then we witnessed writing culture. Then there was a print culture, and then this electronic age, and it is all pervading into our micro aspects, as I mentioned, and everything that we do, and we decide who is the best resource person. We search it. Oh, who is the good person in positive psychology? We decide good books, then again we search. So this search mechanism gives us an idea, but this idea may not correspond to the reality that we may be expecting to. There is a concept of digital ethnography. There is a concept of digital research. So many softwares are entering to the field of research. And how do we complement this emergence of AI, chat, GPT? So it's intruding our day-to-day life in a big way. And is it leading to the expansion of information, or is it leading to the ways through which you can transform your quality to be better? Because the whole range of wisdom that has emerged in the history of civilization, their goal is to empowerment and enlightenment of the society. So does this plethora of platforms that has emerged from the digital ecology, and in the pandemic times also, you may have noticed there is a 500% growth of online education. So are they all translating into the transformation of qualities to a better level, to a meaningful level, to a growth-oriented vertical direction, or is it, creating more confusion in the society and people, find themselves in a mess, what to do, what not. So if I have to search which is the best doctor in my locality, I go for a Google search. And when I meet the doctor, I don't find satisfaction by his rankings, ratings, So this commodification of culture is taking place at a very fast pace. And you have more and more and more, and then the information is so much that it is creating information overload in our cognitive systems, in our social systems. Social interaction is going down, and we are entering into a pseudo social interaction through digital platforms, and it is also leading to certain kinds of alienation in the society. So what Karl Marx said at one point of time, that those people who are producing their products, they are not enjoying the fruits of the theory of capitalism. And you can see the whole epistemology of, or digital ecology, that the psychology of human beings are meeting with technology. We are heading towards the emergence of a society that is called cyborg society. So cyborg society, technology and humans are interacting, and it melts with each other. It modifies us, we like it or not, but it influences our micro behavior and macro behavior, as I mentioned repeatedly. Why I am mentioning? Because people think that I am not getting affected by it, but the fact of the matter remains that every one of us, gets affected by the ecology created by the digital ecosystem. And if you go about the theory of mass media, Marshall McLuhan said that medium is the message. So the medium is the message. That's whatever is being portrayed through the mass media platforms, we start perceiving them as real. And sometimes there is a thinker called Baudrillard. He considers that, okay, so we are living in a state of simulacra, where we are perceiving the surreal as real, and we are corresponding to that. So this is a very, dangerous situation from psychological point of view, that you are perceiving that your rating has gone down on digital platform, and you are trying to collate information. But what is that quality? That is a question mark. So we are in India also, and worldwide also, you have Q3 ranking, QS ranking in the university systems also. The industrialization of the concept of IQ, that we have high IQ, then there people realize that, oh, it is not worth doing, so then shifted to EQ. Now people are also talking about SQ. So all kinds of the categorization, is the key. And whenever you are doing categorization, that you are resulting into a set, that the social identity theory of Tajfeld, it says that whenever you are deciding to do categorization, you suppress certain set of meaning through generalizations. Quantification is one of the major objectives of digital media platforms. So it's visibility 24/7. You have digital media, and it is affecting our sensibility. It is affecting our growth of children are becoming adult at a very young age. You think that my children is studying late in the night, but they are exposed to certain dangerous materials on the digital platform that they should not be exposed to. Similarly, people realize that home sweet home, that everything that people are learning in the time of online education, but this online education resulted into massive influence among the adolescents and younger children getting affected by it. And now their sleep patterns are getting affected, and the society at large. The Seaman is a sociologist. He considers that there is a kind of alienation that is taking place, which is creating a sense of meaninglessness, powerlessness, estrangement from the self, that I don't look like the way I should be, but others are validating me. And every time I am seeking confirmation from something, and it is very anonymous in nature. We don't know how the categorizations takes place, okay, how the university rankings takes place, which is number 1 ranked and which is number 2 ranked, but in terms of what? in terms of, educational, that they do, give you 20 lakh pay packages or 50 lakhs pay packages. But what is their giving back quality to the society? Whether it is X institution or Y institution, people do not talk. Are they also, resulting to the, the empowerment of the society, where we are finding ways and means through which, we can, develop inculcate our reflexive ability. So everything is, becoming dependent on show business, that whatever is seen, that is ours. So I am a grade researcher because I have n number of publications. I am B grade researcher, but where is the context? What is the text without context? It becomes meaningless. And whenever you are, removing the text, so you see the intertextuality and the tacit meanings, what Polanyi has talked about, the hidden agenda. If you see, then you will see from Henry Ford's, principle up to this stage, and who are the owners of mass media? What is their priority? How do they control the state mechanisms that, Habermas talks about communication as a design to, govern the citizenship the way they want. So we think that we are, doing it. So what are the research topics that becomes into prominence all of a sudden? Do they relate to the reality? Do we need it in this Indian context? The concepts that we are discussing. So it is divorced from the, social context, and a text without, strong correlation of the context is an imposed reality, and people start responding. There is a concept of agenda framing job of mass media. They set the agenda. There is a celebrity drench hypothesis. If I say, Kamlesh ma'am say, Silpa madam say, nobody will listen. But somebody who is a star, then people start, following him. It's called drench hypothesis. Drench hypothesis means that, celebrity effect. But how do they, what is the construal of celebrity? What is the process reality they have undertaken to, and what is the process reality? I have only 10, 20 followers of mine. And there is, counterpart person who can have, 10 million followers. But in terms of what is it resulting into business? There are so many digital platforms. It is free of cost, like WhatsApp you keep, but they are also, generating business out. It is a pure business model. And you will see that nothing comes out of free. And there is a concept of, persuasiveness of mind. Those people who are being exposed to, certain careers, courses, and they realize it. For example, if you see, then when students come to take admission in BA in psychology, they think, oh, they will all become, great solvers of mind. And after doing masters, they realize that they are not very well equipped to it, though they claim. And they say that I am expert of, psychodynamic approach. Somebody says that, can there be a concept which is, unrelated to each other? Can there be a concept that, is completely divorced from? So you have to see the interdisciplinarity. And we talk about DSM model kind of thing. So I have written a book on mental health and well-being in Indian psychology. And there was a professor in India called Professor Neki, who talks about, Guru Sishya tradition. So there is a different cultural milieu that exists here. So if you apply that, my, cause of depression is different, and somebody else has, they cannot have the similar characteristics. So you can, you understand there are so many belief systems that we are related to, and the whole job of this, mass media propagated consumeristic model, what you talks about, is to, propagate, have more and more and more. And it is also in terms of desires. And positive psychology, from Indian psychology perspective, has a big role to play. This digital immersion is resulting into alienation of the society. It is resulting into the, rumblings in the cohesion of family as a system. We have 3 mobile phones or 3, laptops in our offices, and we are, alone together. We are in a house, but we don't know who is doing what, who is sleeping at what time. The concept of dining table is becoming irrelevant. And it relates. Bedroom culture, Mac Robbie talks about, that this is my private space. But your private space is also a construction by the social constructionist perspective. So you have to deconstruct the meanings then you see the micro meanings are giving rise to the macro meanings, not the vice versa. So the historical perspective, the concept of medical gaze that Foucault used, and we are living in a state of panopticon, surveillance, 24 surveillance. When I go to my college, there is a punching machine that you have to switch on your button. And if you are late by 5 minutes, which is very common in the traffic of Delhi, then you are absent for the day. So machine system, you are being watched 24/7. And in days to come, positive psychology will have to play a bigger role, where they create what the advocates of positive psychology, I am not a good expert of it. So I think that you have to find models, positive organizational behavior. But does this positive organizational behavior, or does this positive psychological, concepts of hope, resilience, and optimism and self-efficacy, that four pillars that we talk about, are divorced from the social reality or the cultural reality? That the positive psychology will work because of the politics of the nation. So political process, social process, cultural process, they all contribute. So problem of psychology had been, what I perceive, it may be an utopian perspective also but this is not complete dystopia as well, that I think that if you are just handling with the individuals and you are treating that isolated units, disconnected from the larger social reality, we will not be able to solve the problems. So mindfulness that was proposed by Lord Buddha, and there was no book that time, and it was just oral commentary, and it became a very convincing mechanisms to do all kinds of things, and it is still relevant. So you speak less. The Indian concept that you have, karma dharma perspective. So karma is not separated from your professional objects, work life balance. So the more so it is not a fight for outside, and this whole digital ecology is a business of showing yourself outside, and there is no limitation. Shalini Bandyopadhyay is defining me in X way, Nikita is defining me in Y way. And I am trying to adjust, navigating my real, and my center of gravity is lost. And then this Indian perspective has always taught us that you have to search within. And this search within has become, search outside. And everybody is, defining you, categorizing you, quantifying you. And we are, getting drawn towards all this, such kind of things. So what I propose, that we add the anonymity, ambiguity, lack of intimacy, make this technology socially impoverished. There is a thinker who talks about the concept of organology, Stigler. It is a way of thinking the co-individuation of human technical organs and social organization. His theory clearly states about the ways in which cultural, symbolic, and information technology have become a means of industrializing. Please note, industrializing the formation of desires. If students are wanting to have, an iPhone, and they want to use it, even in the class, you will see it is a very tough time for the teachers nowadays, because everybody comes with Google search. Before your class, they know many things that you will be teaching. So how to handle the students and the thinker called, de-schooling the society, they have so much of information. But how to enable that information that they complement. So you do suggest your student to do review of literature, they will come with 200 studies, because it is easily available on Google search or Google Scholar or whatever. So there is a concept of antigone complex to describe the psychosocial effects of the destruction of authority, that is the destruction of the superego on politics and youth. So technology mediated, desires through robotics, artificial intelligence, speech recognition. What I like, my family members may know, not me, but the Siri may not may know it, that what is my life. And emotion recognition are increasingly substituting people with the machines. And latest of this example is online education. So at one point, advanced technology are making more innovative and richer, but at the cost of, so many employments. Employment is also becoming a crisis because so many people that what machines will do, we cannot do. So you have to be very, so that mindfulness concept, I like it very much. And so many students do a lot of research also, and so many jobs are getting lost. And the term technological unemployment was highlighted by economist Keynes. And there is another thinker that we should talk about is Veblen. Veblen talks about economics of status, that we do so many things that is not really needed for us. And the sole psychologist who could earn Nobel Prize, the decision-making process of Kahneman, you can see that we are confused. If you talk to a student, now they are wanting to do law, they are wanting to do, something, psychology, some medicine. So many plethora of activities and informations and specializations are expert system. There is a concept of a startup. So what to do and what not to do, and that transformation of teaching and automation is very much limited to the concept of urban centric education. So the social reality of the rural area are not so good, and technology is not transcending the transforming the lives of the people in rural area, because it is not cost effective to them. There is no private institutions like XYZ, but it will all be in the periphery of urban center. So there is a concept of Louis Wirth who talks about urbanization and its ill effects. It is a period characterized by hyperreality, which is generation of models of reality without origin or reality. I hope I am making sense to the audience. And you can say that hyperreality is the inability of consciousness to distinguish reality from a simulation of reality, especially in technologically advanced society. So you don't know how to differentiate the reality and the surreality. Industrialization of desires have more and more. And so many products that we buy in our house is a product of persuasion by the advertisement. Advertisement is playing a big role in what course, what careers, what professions, what social activity, and they create deficiency in you, and then first they create deficiency in you, and then they prescribe prognosis. So positive psychology, I think, has a bigger role to play even at the school level. What should be the quality of pedagogy that we should be practicing? Is it rote learning oriented, where we are again caring for A grade certificate, CGPA, and that kind of? Though NEP in India has tried to bring a radical shift in the education system, but the people who are handling it, they need to be more mindful, and you understand the concept of Judith Butler. The script of gender performance is effortlessly transmitted generation to generation in the form of socially mediated meanings. Mass media also play a hegemonic role in creating the binary of male, female, and Simone de Beauvoir said, one is not born a woman, one becomes one. So you can see, when we go to the apparatus theory, consider cinema. Cinema also plays a very important role, and what youngsters, follow in their aggression, the classical study. But in general also, you will realize that whenever body treats moviegoers to someone in a dream, because you are in a passive state, watching the movie, and whatever things are going to you start accepting them without filtering. Louis Althusser held that a person's desires, choices, intentions, preferences, judgments, and so forth are the effects of social practices. Ideological practices consist of an assortment of institutions called ideological state apparatus, which include media. So media, I am telling you, my dear friends, my dear colleagues, that it is going to play a big role, and it is playing a big role. who we are, what we become, what not. There is election time in India. You see all kinds of social media influencers. They will be playing their role. And what Mulve is best known for her essay on visual narrative cinema. She argues apparatus of classical cinema inevitably puts the spectator in a masculine subject position. So how this, masculinity and femininity is constructed and substituted by hidden psychological processes that you have to be very mindful about.
We have to.
Mulvey also explored the Lacan's concept of ego formation and mirror stage. And in Lacan's view, children gain, satisfaction through identification with a perfect image. The birth of a clinic. Michel Foucault first applied concept of medical gaze to describe and explain the act of looking as, experts. So doctor is authorized to delve into your, understanding of who you are, but you have, no right. The birth of prison, Foucault develops the gaze as an apparatus of power. So these are structural systems. And you have to see the power is not a given. It is constructed. Wittgenstein talks about the, linguistics concepts. So language is not a representation of the reality. It leads to the construction of the language. Constitutes, it does not mirror the reality. It constitutes the reality. So you have to understand that disciplinary mechanisms such as surveillance and all kinds of things, aesthetic, ritual, rhetorical theory of genre recognize that genre are generated by authors, readers, and publishers. There is a concept of meta-genre. It is situated in language about, institutional guidelines can be a very important factor. Rhetoric is used to bring valuable changes in the real. So the tyranny of numbers. I am less important than madam, or madam is less because I have large number of followers. It is giving rise, it is, leading to a destruction of creativity. Underestimation of authenticity. As teacher, I may not have, millions of followers because I am not a, person of popular category. That does not mean that I do not have a existence. So many things are suppressed from the lens of mass media, and you don't realize it. So many traditional forms of jobs has become, redundant now. The weavers, the tailors. You can see n number of, example, and you will see that one person becoming very famous and it becomes a very, everybody is a startup. But what is the actual percentage? This is what you have to see. And cyber ecology.
No, I am really sorry for interrupting. So if you could wrap up in the next 2 to 3 minutes so that we have some time for the questions as well.
I will sum up in 2 minutes, ma'am.
Sure, sir. Sure. Absolutely.
Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely.
So what we understand as public sphere is a constructed concept by mass media, and manifest meanings and undercurrent meanings are necessary to be decoded. You see that we can create unrest without knowing identifying the source, because there is anonymity. So social cohesiveness, social unity, family unity, individual sense of happiness are all getting affected. Sleep problems, I will not discuss the things that we all know, that internet addiction, Kimberley Young theory, and all other things. So mindfulness is the key. Self-realization that there is too much of beauty image projection, that who is what, beauty as a currency, and you see the all kinds of advertisements that go up side by side and resulting mental health issues. So mental health cannot be divorced from the social reality and cultural reality of the day. So context especially, because something that is not needed, we start following. So the mindfulness is the key. And I think that wisdom of, developing a sense of relying on oneself rather than relying on the external, and all the kinds of, symbols that is being created, that gains currency are not necessarily result of a very realistic process. And as I told you that looming interconnectivity between objects in our homes, cars, careers, and our lives preferences are well, computed, well analyzed. That all kinds of theories and marketing experts, they force you to buy something which is not at all needed. So first they pollute the environment, then they suggest you to buy uh, air purifiers. First they pollute the water, then suggest you to buy RO system. So such kind of model in which man is becoming a slave of its own creation needs to be analyzed and at a very micro level, and positive psychology can play a paramount role, but not from the context divide positive psychology. What the father of positive psychology claims to be that it is not context divide. It cannot be. So you have to be very local centric approach, that what is the positive psychology of a person, and topography, geography, ecology, all are interrelated to each other, and you have to design means, and because the one which is operational in New York cannot be operational in New Delhi. I am very clear about it. Thank you, Professor Kamlesh Madam and your team of experts, Silpa Bandyopadhyay, Tommy Hendricks, Purnima Ma'am, and all other colleagues. There I can see their name. Thank you all, and I'm free to questions. Thank you.
Sir, thank you so much. Audience members, please feel free to post your questions in the Q&A box. And so I must thank you for bringing in your expertise of media psychology, particularly, and helping us understand the such diverse concepts which might be new to many of us. For example, the concept of the panoptical that you shared with us, the constant surveillance that we are under, and also the commodification culture, and ultimately connecting all of this to the relevance and significance of mindfulness in today's digital age, particularly considering the digital overwhelm that we all are in. And for me, this was a very, very pleasant experience, because particularly for me, this was more like a digital classroom, and I was back to being a student and diligently taking notes as well. So thank you so much for today's session, for sharing your insights and your wisdom. And also, of course, for giving us your time on a Saturday morning. And
always available for you people. Whenever you give me opportunity, I'll be very happy to talk at your platform, and whenever you want me. I am also very happy, interacting with you all. So is there any question from anybody?
I don't see any question, but I do have a question myself. So, so given your area of expertise and your engagement with the literature, in the near future, how do you see digital technologies being used within the context of, say, positive psychology research or psychology research in general?
The role of positive psychology or in psychology in general is going to be very important, because digital intrusion is becoming a reality of the day. And with the invent of AI, so many traditional forms of understanding will lose its relevance. So it will be becoming very important in the times to come to adapt to the changes that is taking place, and it is going to pose a very serious question in the society in general, and in for the educators, because so many things students are already knowing it. So it is going to be very difficult for them. And intrusion, privacy, and psychological alienation, it goes hand in hand. So the role of mindfulness and the role of wisdom, that what is needed for me, and it will be very difficult to decide. Decision making is going to be very complex, that what to do, what not to do, what is the right choice. So the choices are going to be plenty, but what is going to be relevant and not relevant, that has to be decided.
Thank you, sir. Thank you once again. On behalf of Team NPPA, we are extremely grateful to
I
have
can
had
see
you.
Professor Misra sir has joined. So my
Yes.
pranam to sir. Sir, pranam sir.
In fact, our next keynote lecture is by the very respected Professor Girishwar Mishra. And with this, I hand over to Ms. Purnima Singh, who is the moderator for the next session. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Purnima.